The fighting in Sudan is as a power struggle. It's a power struggle between two men. One is the general who has been head of a guy he's trying to ensconce himself as a dictator for life. The other guy is Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo, popularly known as Hemedti. He calls himself a Messi. Everybody calls him Hemedti. He is the leader of the Rapid Support Forces, which is a vast and extremely powerful militia group that is importantly outside the command of the regular armed forces, and that's allowed Hemedti to make himself power broker in his own right. He controls a large chunk of the economy, especially the gold trade, and he is effectively all he was until this fighting started. Burhan's effective deputy, the effective vice president, but it's pretty clear his end goal is to be the undisputed ruler of Sudan as well. So basically what you've got is a fight of a death, it looks like, between two men who've basically decided there's only room for one of them in Khartoum in Sudan. So the Rapid Support Forces grew out of what was called the Zangjuid militia, and they were pro-government militias, mostly raised to suppress an uprising in Darfur, which turned into a huge and very bloody war in the 2000s. Hemedti was one of the commanders of the Zangjuid, and to kind of understand how he got to today, you have to go back to 2013 when the dictator of Sudan, a guy called Omar Bashir, took these gentry guys and reformed them. He made Mr. Hemedti a lieutenant general, and he made them answerable directly to himself. Fast forward to 2019. Applause. When you get a huge, basically a massive civilian uprising, pro-democracy protests in Khartoum, Hemedti did a deal with al-Burhan, then the army and the RSF backed the protesters. They arrested Mr. Bashir and a revolution was proclaimed. You did get a transitional government, but both Mr. Hemedti, representing the RSF, Mr. Bian, representing the army, were in very influential positions in that end. Then 2021 they do a full coup of their own and basically put themselves in charge of the country. So it felt to lots of people like someday this showdown was gonna come back. So the trigger for conflict, it's a little bit complicated. The immediate trigger was this discussion of something that diplomats call security sector reform. Basically security sector reformers. How do you get the army out of politics, and how do you defang the RSF? Now part of this is that the RSF should be folded into the regular armed forces. The regular armed forces become led by a civilian government like in any other country. General al-Burhan wanted that done quickly. He wanted them folded into the regular armed forces in 2 years or May. He said no, it's Very big job, 10-year timetable and ask. This dispute escalated, you began to see troops being moved around Khartoum. The army blamed the RSA for massing troops near an air base near Khartoum, and then bang, overnight on Friday, Saturday morning the fighting began. Having conversations with people in Khartoum over the phone, there's no way to downplay the horror of what is happening. The reports are consistent as well. If you go out in the streets, you'll quite like if you get shot, no one seems to care whether they're shooting at civilian. The rapid support forces in particular have begun taking over buildings, guys coming to houses pointing machine guns at them. The owners, the occupiers, the caretakers. A lot of reports actually of rape and sexual violence, so sheer lawlessness in the streets of Khartoum. And then you've got a huge amount of international diplomacy going on. You've got different states competing for influence in Sudan, and of course that's true. It's rich, it's got a lot of resources, it's in a really important part of Africa, and so Sudan is a great prize. Some people have talked a lot about Russia and Wagner. Hemedti RSF have done business with Wagner. He is known to have become wealthy from gold mining. His forces provide security for a gold mine run by Wagner in Sudan. But look, he's not alone, and Mr.Suhail has also visited Moscow and has also done deals with the Russians, so I would be wary of drawing a conclusion that one side is backed perhaps by Russia and the other side is backed by the West. I think actually, if you look at the behavior of all the outside players here, they tend to hedge their bets. They don't want to back the losing horse, and it's not entirely clear which the losing horse is going to be at.